Mummy has been one of the most iconic and successful movie monsters since it first appeared in the early 1900s, and now Irish director Lee Cronin is bringing it back to its roots with his own dark twist. After Blumhouse put their spin on the Universal monsters with 2025's Wolfman, they're now tackling a fresh remake of The Mummy. The original 1932 film kicked off the franchise, featuring horror legend Boris Karloff as Imhotep, an ancient Egyptian prince brought back to life who's on the hunt for a modern woman he thinks is the reincarnation of his lost love. Following in the footsteps of Dracula and Frankenstein, The Mummy was part of Universal's classic horror lineup, and it stood out for being the first not based on a book. Just like Universal's other classic monsters, The Mummy helped cement mummies as a staple of scary movies, and the studio even made a few sequels in the 1940s. But it wasn't until the 1999 Universal hit The Mummy that the monster really got a modern makeover, with Brendan Fraser bringing plenty of action into the mix. Now, Blumhouse is taking another shot at updating The Mummy, but they've got big shoes to fill after the 2017 remake flopped hard. Work is already underway on Blumhouse's secretive horror reboot, and the latest updates reveal 3 new actors joining the cast. Veronica Falcone, May Elgeti, and May Calamawy will be joining Laia Costa, who are already signed on. Details about their roles are still under wraps, so it's unclear whether they'll be leads or supporting characters. The reboot has moved fast, and the movie already has a release date, April 17, 2026. When the project was announced in December 2024, director Lee Cronin promised that his version will be unlike any mummy movie you ever laid eyeballs on before, and hinted it will raise something very ancient and very frightening. Cronin, who made waves in horror with 2023's Evil Dead Rise, started filming in March 2025. While the exact production schedule hasn't been shared, the quick pace suggests the movie is on track to meet its early 2026 release. Since details about The Mummy are still under wraps, there isn't much known about the cast yet. But we do know that Lee Cronin has found his lead. Jack Reynor, known for Midsommar, will be starring in the horror film. His character doesn't have a name yet, but he's described as a husband and father who runs afoul of supernaturally sinister forces. Jack Reynor is going to be a perfect lead for Blumhouse's The Mummy. Born on January 23, 1992 in Colorado, but raised in Ireland, Reynor has built an impressive career with roles in films like What Richard Did, Transformers: Age of Extinction, Macbeth, Sing Street, and Midsommar, as well as series like Strange Angel and The Peripheral. His background makes him especially suited for a horror adventure like The Mummy. Growing up performing in school plays and theater productions in Dublin gave him a strong foundation in acting, and his work in intense emotional roles, especially Midsommar, shows he can handle complex, suspenseful material. Even though The Mummy reboot is already in production with a release date set, almost nothing is known about the plot. Lee Cronin has promised a take that's completely different from anything we've seen, which opens up some exciting possibilities. The original 1932 Mummy was a hypnotic, tense thriller, while most of the sequels turned the monster into a lumbering killer. The 1999 Mummy added action and adventure, but that approach can't just be repeated, as the 2017 remake showed. This gives Cronin a chance to bring the franchise back to its horror roots and make mummies genuinely scary again. He proved with Evil Dead Rise that he can take a familiar universe and push it into fresh, terrifying territory. By keeping the story smaller in scale, The Mummy could feel more personal and suspenseful, unlike the global-scale chaos of the 1999 and 2017 films. Even Wolfman's small-scale approach helped make the monster truly frightening. The Mummy offers a lot of unique storytelling potential, and Cronin looks ready to take it on. At the Megan 2.0 red carpet, Blumhouse CEO Jason Blum revealed things about the upcoming The Mummy reboot, one of the studio's biggest 2026 projects. When the interviewer mentioned the movie was in production, Blum jumped in, saying it was actually wrapped, finished. I haven't seen the final cut, it's in editing, but I'm very excited about it. The vibes are very good. I have a very good feeling about our Mummy. Bloom's enthusiasm shows just how confident he is in the reboot, which bodes well for fans. His confidence is a promising sign, suggesting the film could turn out really well when it hits theaters next year. When he mentioned the vibes were good, he could have been talking about the on-set energy or the overall atmosphere at Blumhouse, but either way, it shows that everyone involved feels positive about the project. Another encouraging point is that The Mummy wrapped filming in June 2025 but won't release until April 2026. That gives the movie roughly 10 months in post-production, which is plenty of time for editing and visual effects. In the meantime, it's definitely worth checking out the original 1932 Mummy movie, which I don't think a lot of people have actually seen. I have a feeling this new reboot will be much closer in tone to that film than the action-heavy 1999 version. The story is set in 1921, when Sir Joseph Whemple leads an archaeological dig that uncovers the mummy of an Egyptian high priest named Imhotep. Dr. Muller, a friend of Whemple's, inspects the body and realizes something unusual. Imhotep's organs weren't removed, and the signs on his body suggest he was buried alive. Alongside the mummy, they discover a casket with a warning curse on it. Ignoring Muller's advice, Whemple's assistant Ralph Norton opens it up and finds the Scroll of Thoth, an ancient text said to give life. After translating and reading it aloud, Norton accidentally awakens Imhotep. Horrified, he breaks into hysterical laughter as Imhotep rises and walks away with the scroll, setting the stage for the eerie events that follow. About a decade later, Imhotep has managed to blend into modern society by taking on the identity of Ardath Bey, an eccentric Egyptian historian. He approaches Sir Joseph's son Frank and Professor Pearson, guiding them to the tomb of Princess Ankhes and Amon. The archaeologists successfully uncover the tomb and send its treasures to the Cairo Museum, after which Bey mysteriously vanishes. During this time, the professor remembers that Norton, who originally discovered the Scroll of Thoth, went insane, claiming the mummy had risen and later died, further fueling the eerie legend. Things take a darker turn when Bey meets Helen Grosvenor, a woman of half-Egyptian descent who looks almost identical to Princess Ankhes and Amon. Both Bey and Frank fall for her, but it's soon revealed that Bey is actually the resurrected Imhotep. Dr. Muller warns Joseph to destroy the Scroll of Thoth, but before he can, Bey uses his powers to kill him. He then enslaves Joseph's Nubian servant through hypnosis, exploiting his Egyptian heritage to bend him to his will and retrieve the scroll. With the scroll back in his possession, Bey summons Helen and reveals his tragic past. He had been cursed and buried alive as punishment for trying to resurrect his great love, Princess Ankhes and Amon. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, because we'll be covering more updates on this soon and other exciting upcoming movies and series. We'll see you next time.